Well, hello. This is Tessa Jones coming to you again with another biblical passage, inspirational message. And this is my channel, Life After Divorce. And this segment is on It's Not All Gloom and Doom. So I'm going to jump right into the passage and then move on from there. So it says, make sure no one gets left out of God's generosity. Keep a sharp eye out for weeds of bitter discontent. A thistle or two gone to seed can ruin a whole garden in no time. And that comes from Hebrews 12 and 15. And that's the Message Bible. I'm also going to read it in a different passage, the New International Version, just to give for some people who memorize the scripture. I want to give something that's familiar. Even myself, when I read it from the Message Bible, I didn't remember it being said like that. So here it goes. It says, see to it that no one falls short of the grace of God, and that no bitter root grows up to cause trouble and defile many. So, as I said, it's not all gloom and doom. And I speak especially to those who have recently been divorced or you're contemplating divorce. I know even for myself, there was a level of bitterness. There was hurt in the marriage on both parts. There was miscommunication. There was misunderstanding. There was infidelity. So a lot of that went to the heart. And, God says out of the heart flows the issues of life. So if our hearts are filled with unforgiveness, if our hearts are filled with bitterness, then how is it, that we can move on? In a sense, we will be stuck. And as you know, with my channel, I want to encourage people to become healthy and whole. And you're not going to be able to move on if your heart is filled with bitterness, if your heart is filled with discontent or contentment for the other person. So again, I say all that to say, I've said it on another segment where I talked about grace and about forgiving one another, because we have all fallen short. So do yourself a favor, speak to God, get rid of the bitterness, get rid of the discontent, and usually there's unforgiveness in that as well. I share one of my experiences. I remember when we were separated and we had not divorced yet, and I remember praying, and I just really heard in my spirit, call him and pray for him. Well, when I heard it, it was like 2 o'clock in the morning, and I'm thinking to myself, call him. My mind is roaming around, oh, he's probably with one of his flings or whatever. So I'm like, Lord, I don't want to be disobedient, so can I call him in the morning? So I settled on that. I called him first thing in the morning, and I said, I want to pray for you. And I'll be honest, I felt like calling you. I felt, around 2 in the morning, but I thought you might have been preoccupied, and he laughed. He said, actually, no, my allergies were acting up, so I was awake. So see, it's always good to just do what God tells you at the time. But anywho, I did pray for him, and as I prayed for him, and I'm not going to get into the details, but one thing I do remember after praying for him, I was blessed. I literally forgave him, because my prayer wasn't to hurt him. My prayer wasn't to harm him. My prayer that he would do well, that there would no be shame, and that, that forgiveness. So the moment that I made a choice to do what God asked me, I forgave. And you have forgiven because you don't want any bad things to happen to him. Half the stuff that he did, although I can remember it, it doesn't prick my heart. It doesn't harden my heart. And again, I have no bitterness or animosity towards him. So I hope that experience, I hope, sharing that with you, that you will take the time to process, you will take the time to listen to the word, because yes, bitterness can sprout up a whole lot of toxic attitudes. You'll see people, well, I'm going to get them before they get me kind of attitude. And no, vengeance is mine, saith the Lord, I will repay. So it does us good to release all that bitterness, release, forgive the person. We are all humans. We all make mistakes. I'm not justifying wrong, but you have to let God deal with it so that you can go on and be what? That we all can be healthy and whole. And the next relationship you get in will definitely be your last until death do us part, in a kind way, in a right way. And I wish you all the best. Take care.